Okay, you're going to take this, okay? Where do I put it? Okay, now fly.
You know she can't actually fly, right? She's a puppet.
How am I going to send my mail then?
Hello, adventurers, and welcome back to the AfterLARP podcast.
Yes, it is the AfterLARP podcast. The podcast takes place right after LARP. Let's start by introducing ourselves. My name is Stephen, but I'm also the Sweetsmith.
My name is Ella, but I also play Saphira, or the Songbird of Portavas.
And where have we been?
We've been at Menhir's Fate Event 2.
Yes! Second event of the year. Second of three, because they didn't put a fourth one on, sadly. But yes, two events in now, over halfway through the year. And what an event it was.
Let's get the big thing out of the way. It was really hot this weekend.
Too hot.
It was too hot.
Yeah.
We've done heatwave events in the past.
This felt like a different level.
It was a different level. It was over 30 for most of the time.
And there was no cloud cover,
No.
So it was just baking heat.
And so windy.
Yeah.
So windy. You don't know how much of a luxury cold water is until you're in a field where the standpipes have been under sun all day, and the only water you have to drink is round.
That warm, it feels like a tea that you've only left out for an hour.
Yeah, not nice. So if we seem a little frazzled, if we seem a little sun-baked, that's why.
So this is the AfterLARP podcast. So what we will be doing is we're going to kind of briefly recap the befores, any rule changes that might have come up. Then we're going to talk about our event in a kind of brief recap.
Yeah.
Not too detailed.
The highlights. And then we'll go through our hots, nots, and forget-me-nots, and any closing thoughts.
Yeah, but first, before anything goes first, please can you like this and subscribe to our channel? It would mean a lot to us. It helps us out. It makes us, it just shows that A, you're enjoying this. Leave us a comment down below if you are enjoying it. I've got a few things that I would like to talk to about the comments. I want some, conversations in the comments. But that's for later.
This is the first I'm hearing of this.
Indeed. Don't you worry. Well, that's fine. So, shall we just jump straight into it?
I think so, yeah. I don't think there were any big rule changes this time around. There were a few tweaks.
Yeah. I think there were a few kind of tweaks around some of the faith tweak had a bit of a tweaking.
Yeah, which is not a game that we are involved with, so I don't think we can provide any in-depth feedback on that.
Maybe in the future character we might do some discussions on that. But yes, we had our downtime, obviously, between events. What was your downtime?
So we were... this was kind of a culmination of a lot of the big plot that's been going on in Portavas since the beginning of Menhir's Fate, where there was a maelstrom, and one of our big bads had come out of the maelstrom with a whole bunch of fallen, and we had to decide whether we were going to meet them head on, whether we were going to fortify the Galeen Islands, or if we were going to just go, let's ignore these guys and go straight into the maelstrom and see what we find.
Yeah.
We chose the meet them head on. They, of course, being a complete coward, ran away.
Yep.
I can only describe them as somewhat Davy Jones-esque from Pirates of the Caribbean, because a lot of their afflictions include things like barnacles and tentacles and sea afflictions. And their ship can also go under the water.
Yes.
So they ran away. We all fell into the maelstrom, and that was interesting. What was your downtime?
So our downtime was Hammerstadt was beset upon in similar nation by creepy crawlies from the water. We had shark people, we had giant crabs, we had giant lobsters, we had what else did we have? We had a leviathan eventually rocked up. And we were deciding whether or not we would help the people of Westwick and actually kind of get involved in the fighting, or just give them all the information to, give them all the equipment they need. It was just a bit of a traditional Hammerstadt scrap with lobster people and things. Eventually they went, the Leviathan retreated, and there's some ongoing plot about that that I'm not hugely involved in. I got to be honest, I found the downtime to be a little bit, and I have this year to find it a little bit lacking. I know they've stripped it back massively, But last event I didn't do downtime at all because none of them interested me.
Yeah.
Because none of them were related to Hammerstadt at all. And none of them really, I liked last year when there was some adventure type plot, something that's not just, who would you like to go out and fight?
Yeah. I appreciate they want to pare it back so they can really nail it.
Yeah.
But I am looking forward to the more adventure plots that we have seen in previous downtimes.
Yeah,
as opposed to just the military
going
action.
on through the labyrinth of the Hammerstadt archives.
Yeah, and going on Rafe's pleasure cruise.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's something that, I will always feed back that the downtime wasn't. And then we did our downtime. We didn't get our downtime for a while because the writer was waylaid. But it just, I didn't feel like it affected the story in any measurable way in our downtime, whereas yours obviously absolutely did.
Ours was a big thing because it was building up to a big thing this event, which we'll go into when we do the recap.
But I also question, the question is, if you had chosen, let's say you'd all voted for a different downtime, would that fight on Friday night would still have probably happened?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
So how much it affects the field currently
That's always been an issue though, because that was one of my big feedbacks last year, was there was no real incentive to talk about downtime because you didn't know what to ask other players.
Yeah.
And the downtime itself had no plot bearing on the weekend.
I think the most that happens is that you'll get a role-playing effect, or you'll come in and it say, go and get a wound card.
I mean, we had a dungeon skirmish because of one of ours last year, but that was a rare occurrence.
Yeah, and that was an adventure type thing, wasn't it? So, so I think that there is work to be done. There's, I think it can be bumped up a little bit. I want it just to not be, who would you like to go and fight this time? Because that just makes the world feel less alive.
Yeah, I think it's going to evolve and it's going to be a work in progress. I think that's the attitude that we kind of have going forwards with Menhir's Fate in general, because it's a brand new system and there will be things that need to be ironed out.
Yeah. So, shall we jump into our weekend?
I think we shall.
So, Friday. Well, we got there on Thursday, obviously. We set up one tent because it was so hot. The coffee shop returned.
The coffee shop did return, and an important thing to note, because it was so hot and so dry, there was a complete ban on fire this event.
Absolutely. Initially it was said essential cooking only, and then on Thursday people kind of came around and said no
fire. You could have the little gas camp stoves if you had them off the ground, but anything involving an actual flame was banned, which was for the best. I think it would have been a huge risk to have any sort of other fire going.
And I'll talk about this on when we get to Saturday, but props to the crew for doing certain things that involved fire without doing fire. But that's, we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, so we got in, we set up, we decided to eat off-site for the simple fact that we could then just sit in the van with air conditioning for a little bit.
And go and eat somewhere with air conditioning, because my God, setup was horrible in the heat.
It was about 36 degrees, I think, at its peak.
Yeah. I thought setting up in the rain was horrible.
Yeah.
Setting up in the heat is equally horrible.
Yeah. And the heat didn't dissipate. That was the big thing. It didn't go down until the sun went down at 9. The heat was 32 degrees.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
It did get better over the weekend, but Thursday and Friday in particular were rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we get to time in.
Yep, we get to time in. I go over to Hammerstadt and time in there.
We stay in Portavas. We had 2 new Portavan players that we mildly knew OC.
Yep.
So I sort of took them under my wing for the weekend and got them involved in things.
Yep.
Did you have anyone new in Hammerstadt?
We had one new. I think we had one new Hammerstadter or 2 new Hammerstatters. We had 2 new Hammerstatters. Both of whom were, absolutely fantastic for the weekend. I didn't really get a chance to speak to them because I feel like I didn't spend a lot of time in my nation this event. And that's just something for me to kind of think. I felt like I was off doing other things or talking to other people or in Portavas and doing that. So I want to be able to find the balance next event.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So our big thing, and this is something that they changed slightly to facilitate an easier Friday for the Adventurers Guild, we knew what skirmishes were happening and when and where we had to muster. So going into the event, before we got to time in, we knew that we had a skirmish to face off against Bella Amici, our big bad, at 8 o'clock. Now, if you've watched our Empire video, you'll know that I've recently gotten a bow. I actually have a working bow this time. And if you are unaware of how enchanting works at Menhir's Fate, you can essentially enchant things with different versions of skills.
Yep.
Rather than having extremely specific items that only have one specific thing that they do. I don't have the XP to take range proficiency, it's 4 XP and I'm kind of maxed out at the moment.
Yep.
So my big thing on Friday at time in was to enchant my bow with ranged proficiency so I could use it on this skirmish.
Yep.
Spoiler alert, I did it.
Yep, we did it. We got it done.
It took a lot of running around.
There was a mild bit of contention and conversation with the enchanting, the crafting guild and the game team. They had to kind of go and get some clarification because it seemed like you couldn't do it, but on the wiki and everything else you could. So the game team just had to kind of say, yes, you can.
Yeah.
Enchant. You can only enchant. So if you have a bow, it can only have bow proficiency.
Yeah.
You can't put toughness on it. You can't put
anything else on it.
Crush on it or anything like that.
And which makes sense because out of all of the things in that field, a bow is an actual weapon, not a toy.
Yep.
And in order to even use a bow, you have to get a bow competency card. So I did that before time in when we got our weapons checked. But yeah, it worked out. We had our friend in Hammerstadt, part of your coterie,
Yep.
do the enchanting. And he added a little roleplay effect in there, which was
Yep.
anytime I was using the bow, and I kind of extrapolated it to just any time in general, I had very strong feelings of friendship towards this person.
Yes.
I kind of just hammed this up and did it any time I saw this person. I was like, my best friend, how are you? And I think he got a real kick out of that.
Yeah, he loved it. He loved it. Absolutely loved it. And while I was doing the enchanting things, I caught up with, my usual Hammerstadt friends. Just did little bits and bobs. We didn't really have anything planned Hammerstadt-wise for the Friday. So it was very much just let's chill and discuss.
We did go and have stew.
Yes, we went and had stew. But that wasn't in Hammerstadt, that was in Cyridonia.
No, that was in Cyridonia.
In Cyridonia.
Cyridonia.
Yep, that was with our friend. Our friend Josh had made a massive gammon stew and then a little vegetarian based, a mushroom based stew, because you could use gas cookers as long as they are very high off the ground.
Which was honestly, I'm so happy they were able to still do that.
Yeah.
Because there was a moment where we thought that they wouldn't be able to do the stew at all, and they bought all of this food for it.
Yeah. And then you went, and then it was basically time for the skirmish, really, wasn't it? Oh no, I didn't Portavas do a little bit of a military drill training?
There was a little bit of a military drill training because I had to run around getting my bow sorted.
Yeah.
I didn't take part in this, but it happened right after our time in Moot. And all I heard as I was walking over to Hammerstadt to come and find you was, all right, everyone, form a line.
Yep, which went really well last event when they formed a line against the Fallen.
I must say, we have improved.
Yes, you did improve because you skirmished on the thing. You didn't form a line because, and I don't know if this was planned or if it was a lovely thing because of the heat or anything, but it worked because we were in the copse. Of Dadford Road.
We were in the woods.
The woods, which meant you couldn't form a line because there was not enough space to form a line.
There were 3 massive tree trunks in the way.
So it turned into 3 little lines of skirmish groups. Lovely to see.
So shall we talk about that skirmish?
If you want to, yeah.
It was meant to be Portavas only.
Yes. Well, I was around. I was watching. I was sending people off. I was actually giving out lots of potions and things for people. And then I asked one of the threads if I could come, and they kind of indicated that would be fine as long as there was no one.
As long as it wasn't massively oversubscribed with Portavans.
And if anyone said I wasn't allowed to go, I'd be like, okay, cool. I've got 100 other things to do. So I did go along, and I did help out, and I was mainly with the new players.
Yes.
Just kind of making sure that they knew what combat was, because they hadn't gone to the combat brief, so I did a mini combat brief of these are people on the other side. Do not hit them very hard. Hit them how you would like to be hit.
Which you're very good at now.
Yeah.
From all of the Comic-Cons
conventions.
we've done.
Yes. Yeah, and learning from people like Hefty Yeti and Kit. So thank you both to them for teaching me the right way of doing it. So the reason I asked to do it, not because I wanted to go on the skirmish and do those kinds of things, I wanted it because I wanted to play the game that I've played for over a year and a half now with my partner. And I have been unable to play with my partner because there has still not been any inter-nation plot between the Hammerstadt and the sister nation of Hammerstadt, Portavas, who were once part of Hammerstadt. And it may sound like I'm annoyed by it, because I am. Because it is 6 events now that and after every event I have said, and during the event I have said, can we please have some plot between the two nations that are interlinked historically?
Can we have a big Portavas Hammerstadt fight at some point? And it's not happened yet.
Nope.
Which is, and this is one of the things, I think it would be really good for Portavas to see how Hammerstadt fight, because before the event we had a voice call on Discord where part of that was a discussion about our battle tactics going forward, and I made the point of Hammerstadt do skirmishing really well. It can be done. We don't have to fall back on line fighting to be a decent force on the field. And I think it would be really good for our fighting forces to see how you do it.
No nation has the numbers to do line fighting.
No, it's too
Unless
small
you're
of a game.
combining with bigger nations, you can't effectively do line fighting because it will just crumble because you'll only have 1, maybe 2 lines. So yeah, I just think it looks a bit naff.
I think skirmishing is just a lot more fun.
Yeah, skirmishing is a lot more fun. Standing in a line and that, no one pushes when it comes to life, and no one actually uses it effectively and pushes forwards. They just hold, and that's not useful because the enemies will not hold.
No, they will push. We need to push back.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the skirmish.
Yes.
So the whole premise of this fight was we were going to fight Bella Diamici. And we got up to the gate, and our brief plan was we were going to go in, we were going to fight with a fallen group. We were going to loot their bodies and grab
fallen banners.
Fallen banners. Yeah. And then we were going to split, and we were going to have half of our force, or as many as we could, pretend to be fallen, whilst Bella and his crew came over. There was going to be a discussion, and then there was going to be an ambush from the rest of our fighting group.
Yep.
And I think this is one of the most interesting and fun fights I've done at Menhir's Fate so far.
It was a dynamic battle. The only thing I would have suggested is that having the ambushers not behind thing a bit further, because the fight kind of kicked off and it still took a bit of time for you guys to get in, and by that time half of it had...
Unfortunately, I think that was just where we were fighting. We had 3 massive fallen trees that we were hiding behind, and that was kind of behind the line of where you guys were talking with the enemy group. So I took the baby LARPers in the fallen thing. So I taught them how to loot bodies. And then I gave them the fallen banner, and I said, which one of you wants this? One of them took it. And I was like, stay with these people, they will keep you safe, because they were scared of losing their characters. Going into your first LARP fight is a terrifying thing, and I'm really glad that you were on the infiltration side, so they had a friendly face to fall back on if anything did happen.
The goal was stay near me and everything will be completely fine, and I was just egging on Rodrigo and Priest Steph to just take matters into their own hands. Because that would be because here's the thing in LARP, it always ends in a really long speech. And
it's like D&D. You gotta let the villain monologue.
You let a monologue, but at some point it gets a bit tedious. Please see our Empire 2 vlog where there was 40 minutes of speeches before a fight. I get it. It's a cool kind of thing to moment and have. And there was some really good negotiation from Portavas' side. Really good. Loved it. Rodrigo had an idea, and it was a very good idea. So I suggested that he take it.
So what did you do?
Well, Rodrigo cast taunt, one of his right. I don't know the rights because I don't know spells.
You don't know magic.
I don't do magic. I don't trust it. It's weird stuff. Makes silly ears. And so Rodrigo was going to cast Taunt, and then Steph, the priest, was going to go up and smite him because that's probably the best way of getting someone corrupted down. Naughty, just down you go. And I was on the as far away as I could, just like yeah, hold for a second. Okay, go.
Yeah.
And that's when the fight all kicked off as soon as the taunt happened. And boom, Bella went down in seconds.
Yeah. They kept him stable because Bella is important to a lot of players for plot reasons. But once the fighting kicked off, I was with the hiding group, so we ran in. I shot some arrows. I shot someone in the chest.
Yep. I got rendered.
You got rendered.
I got rendered and then rescued by the new player. They cast a right. I guided them through casting a right. And they did fantastically. They did all the words. They did a full 30 seconds. In fact, more than 30 seconds of talking because I was counting down my bleed count. Because if you are a healer, you can pause the bleed count while you heal. If you are a weaver, you cannot pause the bleed count. So if they've got 29 seconds left and you've got a 30-second right, they're going to be dead before you say I've sinned worse.
Yeah.
But they did fantastically. I'm still here.
You're still alive.
And then, I'll leave it over to you then.
Yeah, so we came in. There was a bit of chaos, a bit of confusion as we came in. We trounced the enemy crew. And then there was a bit of confusion as we were wandering around, like, where did Bella Dimitri go? Because we hadn't seen you guys taunt and slay him. So we assumed that he had disappeared, because that's what Bella does. Bella had been kept alive and taken far away from where the fighting was. And the player character that had been most affected by this Bella plot got to execute him, which was a really lovely moment.
It looked cool. It was awesome.
So cool.
Yeah.
He did a whole thing of, this is for the character that died at MF4 last event, who was also afflicted by the Kraken's Kiss.
Yeah, honestly, really, really good.
We took his face off, which was a lovely, really nice, like, tentacle mask.
Yep.
And then you guys took his body back into Haven.
Yeah, well, the nation of Portavas got a bit of a bollocking, I see, from the guildmaster of the Adventurers Guild, who is also the cousin, I believe, of this
also
nasty
Anamichi.
Yes.
The Amichis are a very big family.
Yes, the nasty person. So he came out and raked you across the coals, saying, "Do better," and said that I don't want to see him. Unless it's him being dropped at his feet. So we did go to drop him at his feet.
He didn't like that.
He didn't want it. So then I said we should just go and sell him to Morvalis, because honestly, I would say that is probably the most disrespectful thing you could do to a Portavan, because you want to be buried at sea.
Yeah, our
so
whole thing is we don't like Athria magic.
Yeah, so we sell him, and then he can be a slave to, he can be a servant to some person feeding grapes to a Morvalian noble.
And Rodrigo wanted to take him over to Morvalis, because Morvalis have a lot of Athria weavers, and we could ask his corpse the questions that we couldn't have asked him when he was alive.
Yeah. But I think instead he went to the Adventurers Guild, and we just kind of left him there. Partially because we were just carrying around an NPC crew member who might have had other things to do.
Yeah.
And, at some point you have to kind of think, this is just, we have kidnapped someone.
Yeah. So that happened. We came out of that fight and we were all corrupted.
Yep.
I had 1 level of corruption from hiding. You had 2. And the person who did most of the negotiations got 3.
Yep.
And
so I went and got myself cleansed by 2 different priests.
I got cleansed slightly later in the evening. Got dedicated straight away, which was nice, because sometimes I do forget to get myself dedicated.
Yep. And then for the rest, I think there was a big Hammerstadt weaving. There was a couple of big Hammerstadt weavings. One to look into the Leviathan, and see what and that's going to lead to potentially another weaving that you will be involved in.
That's actually something I need to poke IC maybe next time we're in Haven.
Yep.
Because I want to know if the Leviathan is distinct from the Kraken, or if it's...
I can answer that, but we'll do it. We'll do it icy.
Interesting.
Yes. Robin told me everything. And then there was a big fable weaving to try and get ghosts to build or at least assist in building the Freistadt. That one went.
We had the numbers.
It was a partial success.
Yeah. The issue with that weaving was that we went on too long, and the Menhir didn't get bored. The fable magic receded.
The sphere closed
before we could finish the ritual. That was fun. I took part in that. I worked with another bard to provide musical ambience throughout the whole thing, which was very nice.
Yep.
We also got our new Portavan, who was a weaver, involved with that, because it's a cool side of the game that people don't necessarily get to see on their first event.
Yeah. That was someone actually said to me as I was walking past, like, if you're a new player and you want to get game or at least see how the game kind of works, be a weaver and just stay by that tent, because you will never not be busy and you will be everyone's friend by the end of it, because the amount of people that will run around going, I need weavers. Even one, even if you're a different sphere, you can provide that one level, and that can make the difference between a successful weaving and a complete failure. That if you're interested in that kind of side of it, or just want to see what the game is like and how the people are, become a weaver and just hang around the tent. You can even say like, oh yeah, I'll weave for a saga.
Yeah. We also got, over the course of the weekend, we got both of our new Portavans inaugurated into the Treasure Hunters Guild.
That was good fun.
One of them got given a very interesting compass. That sparked, it was a Hansel, sparked some negotiations with some other Portavans that you helped with.
I am the negotiator for your crew, remember? You are. I am because you don't have a money person.
We don't have a money person.
So I am your money person because I'm a Hammerstatter.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much all of Friday. You performed.
I performed at the Rum Locker quite late in the evening, so I only did a short set.
Midnight.
It was around midnight, yeah. So I did 4 songs, which was very nice. I wouldn't say it was a bad performance. It was the worst of the 2 that I did at the Rum Locker. Just because the one on Saturday night was so good. And then I also got given a quest by our voice of the Arbiter, Zen.
Oh, yes, you did.
Who came and sat in our camp on Friday evening and essentially asked me on behalf of the Arbiter to go around and collect testimonials, words, stories from people in Portavas in Haven that they would like to have put in an Armada Day speech to the rest of the nation outside of Haven, which was really fun.
He's a lovely person.
Yeah, such a fun player to bounce off. I
think we should go to him for the entreaty.
Yeah,
but he has this really good knack for play, and because I think he cleansed. I remember the first time I met him was MF4 properly, and he ended up involving me. I wasn't corrupt at all, but one of the other Hammerstatters, Merrill, was, and in cleansing we had to just play this really silly game. And this was after a battle, and there was everyone had cleared the field except for 2 refs who were just watching the 3 of us just run around.
That sounds like Zen. That was kind of Friday. It was busy and not busy, and I think that encapsulates the weekend as a whole, because it was so hot. And no one wanted to be on it all weekend.
And we were, and obviously we were camping next to the Rum Locker, which is not the quietest of locations to camp.
Even with my earplugs in and a melatonin. It was difficult to get to sleep both nights.
I think we were rocking on about 4 hours sleep on the first night, and then about that on the second. But we did stay in, and we were basically playing until timeout this time, which is normally not the case.
No, normally we are by midnight we're back at the tent eating custard creams and Pringles.
Right, let's talk about Saturday.
Okay, Saturday. So, Saturday and Sunday morning,
Saturday and Sunday morning?
Well, okay. Because we did the same thing both days. We ran Roost and Respite.
Oh, we did, yes.
And because it was so hot and we weren't allowed fires, we decided to just do cold brew for this event.
Yep, and we had cake as well.
And we had cake.
So obviously I'm the sweetsmith. Normally I've had this thing of I wanted to make sweets for so long, but in 30-degree heat, there's no point making sweets because they're just not going to, not going to be nice. No one's going to want to eat a melting boiled sweet or anything like that. So I went, nah, I'm not doing sweets this time. So I had my sister, the cake smith, make a batch of very different cakes. So we had lots of different flavored cakes. We had some vegan options and a gluten-free option as well. And yeah, it was. They
went well.
Yeah, they did. They did go well. So you stayed at the coffee shop.
Mm-hmm. We manned it probably until around 11:30, 12-ish.
Yep. And what I did was I took our wagon, our little trolley that we used to transfer kit and things. I threw a blanket over it, and I did what a lot of food traders don't do. I went straight to the guilds. So the guild tents, which are in the centre, they're always saying, oh, if you're a food vendor, if this, that, the other, please do come and give your
those
wares.
NPCs can't leave the guilds.
No.
And it's hard, it's hot. They can't go over to traders and get a coffee if they're flagging.
Yeah.
So we'll bring the coffee to them.
Yeah, so yeah, I literally had a little bottle of the coffee and in like a large mason jar, and a load of cups, and I would just go around and I would sell coffee to anyone who wanted coffee. And I sold out before I started up at the, I started at the bank, and then it went bank to crafters, to customer service. I nipped into customer service and gave them some coffee as well. Then the treasure hunters, and I sold out after the treasure hunters. So the Adventurers Guild and the Menhir and the Shrine got nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, and that happened both times as well.
Really?
I should have gone around the other way, but no. People wanted coffee, and they were really, really appreciative of the coffee, and apparently they really liked the coffee too.
Good.
And the cakes went well as well. I had a few different cakes, so if someone wanted some cake, I was prepared for them.
Excellent. And yeah, we sold out of coffee at the coffee house itself as well.
So
which
we had
was
to make
surprising.
more.
So yeah, we had to.
We didn't sell out last time.
No, we didn't. We had loads left over last time. So I put on fresh batches at Saturday lunchtime for Sunday.
Yep.
And we kind of left it there with the coffee house. There's we've always gone in with, we don't want this to be an all day thing. We want to do it for a couple of hours in the morning and then go out and have the rest of the day.
Yep.
Which is what we did. We got our other new Portavan friend into the Treasure Hunters Guild. Their quest was really fun. The first one was they had to find something expensive for Friday night. And for the one we did on Saturday, they had to find something scary.
Yep.
Which was great because I dropped them off at a friend who caught them up on some of the Portavan plot, offered them a fizz wrap that they had made, and got them into the Treasure Hunters Guild, which was awesome. And this was all to do with the Kraken's Kiss stuff with the Bella Diamici plotline. So it was a nice way to get them caught up on that as well.
Yep. And throughout the day in Hammerstadt, it was the Clarasburg Sausage Festival, which is one of our nation festivals, all about sausages and all about kind of, our history of, it's about prosperity and ensuring that we continue a prosperous, our city remains prosperous.
So what's the background behind the Sausage Festival?
So the background behind the Sausage Festival is centuries ago, or a large period of time ago, there was a little girl who was very poor. She was an orphan, and people paid her in sausages. And eventually she had so many sausages that the higher status and higher up people panicked, thinking there were no sausages left, and there was a run on the bank. And it caused a financial and economic crisis all over sausages. So that is it. And we had, we kind of started celebrating it. And then we went off to Monster.
Oh, yeah.
And I did combat monstering as the Tyrant. And that was good fun. They are much more regimented, so they do line fighting because they're meant to be a proper military army of they're all meant to be
war machine.
A war machine. And so they went off and did their thing. And we had 2 fights, and it was very hot. It was very fun. We took out a few people, had a bit of a and I died miraculously, and then stood up and went back to the shade because I'm not silly.
No.
And then we were called off to go to back to Clarasburg through the Menhir, through the portal, to essentially go and find the effigy of Wolfhild. It's Guy Fawkes night. It's bonfire night.
Yeah.
So we have an effigy of her that we then burn at the end of the night to essentially cleanse and mark prosperity for the rest of the year.
Guy Fawkes, but with sausages.
Yes, yeah.
It's great.
So the Clarasburgers had lost the effigy. So we had to find the effigy first, which we did. We wandered around. And then we had a tug of war contest, and I made a lot.
And this was an excursion, wasn't it?
Yes, it was an excursion.
You went out of
Yep.
Haven
It
to Clarasburg.
it was to Clarasburg, yes. And I made, so the NPCs had come in and they were like, oh, let's do some betting and things. I had just had my sword, or booked my sword to be enchanted. So I had 2 myths on me. And I said, right, that's fine. I'll put 2 myths on us, the players, on the peacocks to win. And they offered me odds of 3.5 to 1. Obviously the peacocks won because they're a really good team at working together.
Yeah.
And they had a very good anchor. So that was, including my initial stake, 9 myths, which cleaned out that NPC's funds that they brought.
Wow.
So everyone else who bet afterwards then had to get an IOU basically to come back late. He said, I'll come back into Hammerstadt proper and give you the money there. So we, and then I was told I was not allowed to bet anymore because there was another round, and I would have put all of those 9 myth on there and walked away with about, with a legend and a half, with almost 2 legends.
I wonder why you were banned.
Oh yeah, I'm not allowed to gamble apparently. And then there was a couple of other little games and things like that. It was basically kind of, a summer fete atmosphere.
Yeah.
But it was really fun. We had a great time.
It
was in the copse, so it was a bit it was shaded. We all sat down. A few of us had a little chat. I've done a lot of trading this event. I'll say that. I made a lot of, good relationships with traders and good plans to get your weapon, your bow done, and my bow done, my sword done. So my sword now is called the Sweetsmith's Jawbreaker, and it does 3 shatters per encounter.
Which is huge.
Yeah, and expensive.
Yes.
But it was such a good choice. It was a good option to just go, bang, I'll have that. And it paid dividends in the fight on Sunday. What did you do?
So while you were off at monstering, I kind of just chilled. I think that's when we did the treasure hunter stuff with our new friend. And then I went round to Serenity because our friend, who I've done some singing with in the past, is based there. And we had a nice little practice session for Horizon Sirens, which is our loose little bard group in Portavas, which was very lovely. And then sort of in the afternoon, there was a bit of a dead lull between 2 and 6. Because it was so hot, they rearranged all the monstering slots, which was a good thing. I want to preface by saying it was the right thing to do. But it did mean that there was quite a quiet zone in that middle part of the day. And I think I just ended up chilling for a lot of it. We played Throw the Jellyfish. I brought some water balloons along, and we filled up a couple of those, and we essentially just played hot potato with water balloons in the middle of Portavas, which was fun. We did the practice, and then just before, I think it was just after 3, we had someone come into camp looking for participants for the bard off in the bar.
Yes.
And I said, why not? I have All for Elandra, which is a song that I filked last year that I'm trying to get to be a Haven anthem, and I think this event is where that actually started working. So I entered the bard off. I couldn't stay the entire time, which I was kind of sad for because it was running very close to our monstering slot at 4. Yeah. So I performed. One of the judges was Bill Wagglestaff. Yeah. And you came round looking for me, and I said, that's Bill Wagglestaff right there. And you went, what?
Yeah, so yeah. Because I heard you were performing, because I came to find you. You said, I was like, oh, Bill Wagglestaff's here. I was like, what? Because from last Menhir's, Bill Wagglestaff, it turned out, was not a very good chap.
He was a fraud.
He had plagiarised a we discovered it was the ghostwriter. So the ghostwriter was jealous. This is what Bill says.
Okay.
The ghostwriter was jealous of the shine and the the amazingness, all the pomp and circumstance that Bill was getting, and that caused him to fall to become corrupted by the fallen. So that's why he was angry, and he was like, I wrote the play, and but he, that's fair. He stole the play, so. But Bill was there, and I was like, hang on, you are currently wanted by the Court of Daggers because there's an active contract out on him, and B, not a friendly, shouldn't show your face around it. And I looked at him and I was like, and then I went off and got
you went off
a few Hammerstatters, and suddenly about 5 Hammerstatters came over and just surrounded him, including one of the threads.
I cannot overstate how funny this was.
Yeah.
There was a performance going on, there was an audience that were like singing along and clapping along, and all of a sudden this big group of Hammerstatters just come into the bar and surround Bill and just stare at him. I could not stop laughing.
And I know it's, obviously what had happened, because it was a different NPC crew member that was playing Bill this event. I think this was the original Bill.
Okay.
So what had to happen was suddenly, Bill had to quickly go off with Conrad and have a chat to explain what happened last event. And then Bill came back and said, I'll talk to you all later. I'll come back to here at 9. And I think it was a bit of plot got written on the
yes.
thing. But yeah, so Bill focused on that, and I was around anyway for you because I wanted to watch you perform, and I wanted to watch everyone else perform. And there was some really fantastic performers.
Really good performances.
And there was some people that just absolutely threw themselves into, it wasn't just all singing. There was a pianist.
Yeah. Gorgeous piece.
Yep, there was a flautist and kind of hula hoopy act.
Which was so cool.
Yeah, and it was great, and everyone had a really fun time, and the crowd were into it. And then they did they got the judges up, and they did a cheer for that. And you'd gone by that.
I had gone by that point. I performed my song.
Yep.
I performed All for Alandra. People were like clapping along. People were singing along. It was one of the most fun audiences I've had at a LARP so far, and that was because they were there for singing and art and music.
Yep. And then they did who by round of applause who did it, and they went through all the list, and and when it got to Saphira, they said can you stand up so people recognize you, and obviously Saphira wasn't here, so I just said, she's not here, but cheer anyway, and everyone just went crazy cheering. And ultimately
I came third.
Yeah. I think there was 9 or 8.
It wasn't like 3rd out of 5. It was a significant.
Yes. Which meant you won something.
Yeah, I won an enchanted weapon of Crush, which I have no use for as a now archer who also has a sword, because Crush can only be put on or be used with blunt weapons.
Yep.
But our friend in Cyrodinia uses a hammer.
Yep.
So I gifted it to him.
And not only that, the name of the weapon fit Cyrodinia.
Because it was called Tunnel Vision.
Yeah.
And Cyrodinia are all about living in tunnels.
Yes, exactly. So it went to a good home.
It felt meant to be, actually.
Yeah.
So
I went up and I accepted it for you, and then ran off to do other.
And now I have bragging rights as an award winner in the Bard Off.
Award-winning bard. So yeah, and then you did your monstering?
We did our monstering. I, at this point, was very low on energy because of how hot it was, and it was still quite warm. Our slot was from 6 till 8, and it was still really hot. So I decided to NPC. And this time around, and I cannot thank the crew enough for this, they actually gave us some ideas or some potential things with monstering and NPC. Some options for costume for NPCing. And they said it might change, but here is what we're planning to do during your slot. So we had the option of Wonderfolk, or we had the option of Avalays. And I had stuff for Avaro costume, so I wore that. I got a little yellow bicocket hat, which was very nice. And our whole premise was we were Avalays, villagers, farmers that were living right on the edge of the fading. The gods had abandoned us. We were being onslaughted by corruption and the corrupted factions and monsters, and we were having a real terrible time. And the Void had sent some preachers to come and find us while we were working in the fields and sat us down to try and get us to join the Void faction. And we were going to be joined by a contingency of priests from Haven who were going to try and convince us to stay with the 12 and not give in to the Void. They weren't very good at it. I think out of the group that was around 20 to 25, maybe even 30 of us doing this monstering, they only managed to retain 3 people, or like get 3 people to join the 12 faith.
So why weren't they very good at it?
So here's the thing. They came in with a lot of like platitudes of like, oh, the 12 are so great. They tried to like get on our level and say that they like understood where we were coming from and like tell us all about Haven. And I think what we were looking for as our characters in that moment was some sort of tangible proof that the gods had not given up on us and were going to give us aid to help us. Promises of food, of a military unit, promises of actually giving us help after the fact. And this is the thing, we were told to make it difficult for these priests, and we did. I personally was looking for any mention of the fact that this manifestation of Haven was in Urdrevani territory that had recently been saved from the fading. I wanted whoever I was talking to tell me that the fading had been pushed back and it could be pushed back and that we could be saved. And unfortunately, I tried really hard to goad the players I was talking to into mentioning this and it just didn't quite land. So my character did end up dedicating herself to the Void, and that was quite fun to play on. It was a really interesting monstering slot. It was a lot more emotional and a lot more like heavy RP than a lot of the ones that I've done before, because we weren't going out into Haven. We weren't going and like
fixed encounter, wasn't it? Really, it was like bang, that's it.
And it was, I think the NPC crew member that we had that was kind of leading us was the crew member that played Bella on Friday.
Oh, nice.
So that was quite fun. They were such a hoot to play alongside. Yeah, we had a laugh afterwards about it. But it was really interesting. We were like specifically told going in, like, don't smile. Like, it sounds so weird to say, don't smile. But yeah, it was really fun, really interesting. And I'm really glad I did that.
No, I think that's awesome. That sounds, see, the NPC slots I've done previously, and I think you've done previously, have been, you know, the best way to describe them is random encounters in the field.
Yeah, go out into Haven.
Go out and be an idiot and be annoying or get kicked out of a bar. But this felt like I was part of the NPC crew. Like it felt like I was a crew member that was helping to facilitate a really awesome skirmish, a non-com skirmish for these priests. So yeah, really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was brilliant. It sounded amazing. And I know that I was going off to a Wonder skirmish at the time. It was like Wonder, and then Hammerstadt had just kind of joined in because we discovered that it was about Traxxas, the Void General, that he is probably the only world plot that Hammerstadt actually actively care about right now. The rest of we're not too fussed about. The Void are our big bad right now. And Traxxas is our 100%, he's got to go. Well, because it was the Void that attacked you during downtime last year. So like you are at loggerheads, essentially, in the same way that Portavas and the Fallen are at loggerheads because of Bella. But I believe it was the Crafty Fox. Yes. That came to ask if anyone could, if any priests could come and do this encounter. Yeah, it was I said, well, I've got my priest in my coterie that might fancy it. I don't know if they will or not, but you can ask. We went off for a little bit of scrap with the Wonder, and it was a fantastic, it was a really fun fight. It was go and rescue some Wonder folk and bring them back. and fight the void. I think there was some miscommunication with the objectives, but that is no one's fault. And I know that there was at some point some contention with the commander that was picked. That was a Wonderfolk commander. I will say that they did a fantastic job. It was other members of the Wonder that were shouting over them. They were a brilliant commander. They did that, but they just had wires crossed.
Right.
However, I'd follow them into battle again. You know that. Not sure how many more Wonder fights we'll go on, because I think they rubbed us up very much the wrong way in our nation. But we had a good fight. We went in. We did our usual bits. I got to play with my new weapon, and towards the very end, I saw a big. There was like one last void general, you know, skirmish crew, big wacky stick, going out and being he was doing very good at beating back at least 3 other people. And I was like, all right, fine. I'm going to go over and I'm going to play with my new toy. So I ran over, and this was like half the field. Ran over and I went, okay, yep, give me a second. Right, as soon as he went to it, shatter. He dropped it. He got me with a stagger, and I was like, valid. I'll step 3 steps back. But by that time, he'd got a second sword out, but he was still being harried by those other 2. But I managed to get that one moment where he had his back turned, and I could get behind him for the rend.
Nice.
And then he died, and initially I was like, I'm not going to bother looting you. And I was like, no, actually I am going to loot him and see what he's got, just because I've got him now. Yeah. But yeah, thank you for that crew member, because he was brilliant and really terrifying. To fight against, and then I was just walking back in my usual thing. But there was a moment where I was given a stun from one of our Athria Weaver in the nation. So I had 1 stun within 5 minutes. I was like, I'm going to use that, and saw there was a bit of a Wonder line fighting, and then as usual, and I ran up to someone before and I stunned them, and then the line didn't move forwards.
Oh.
To which I then stood behind and said, what the hell are you doing not moving forwards? Like, they can't move. It's like, they're going to keep pushing. You need to keep pushing forwards. Like that. But that's the thing. I know a lot of people get scared when a big group of people with spears comes out. You know what? If you can get between those spears, you're pretty solidly, they can't really do much. Yeah. And just move forwards. Use the power that you have and push and push and push, because otherwise you will just get flattened.
Yeah, you have to keep moving.
Yeah. Yeah. Then we came back, and I think what was then we went to the bank, didn't we? Really?
Well, we did. We helped out with the Athria weaving for Hammerstadt.
Yes. Yep.
Which was very fun.
Yep.
Portavas don't really like Athria as a sphere because it goes against a lot of our cultural morals.
Yep. So I had to call in a favour.
Yeah. Which I'm glad we participated with that. It was a very cool weaving. I don't want to go into too many details about it.
Yep. But yeah, what I did essentially is, you know, I said, because it was Krios, this Athria Weaver, who came with us, with half of the Hammerstadt fighting team, and that was half of the skirmish, came with you to the water sphere to do that horrendous skirmish. Yeah. And so I was like, you know what? Hammerstadt is owed a favour, I think. I think this is the time to cash in and say, you don't really get a choice in, you know, coming to, we're calling in this favour. Get in the tent and stand still and let the Jester Priest be weird.
All you had to do was say, favour, water sphere, and I was there. Yep. And it was a fun weaving to take part of. It was very silly in parts and very, serious in parts. And it was successful, just not necessarily in the way that I think it was
a different
intended.
Success, and I like that. But it also opened up a bit more lore.
Yes, absolutely.
Bit of interesting stuff to find out. So yeah, I really enjoyed watching it. Because it was that mix of it, because it needed a priest, and so they got the Jester Priest, Mirth. And so it had this wonderful mix of, I am very serious, downy goth, you know, dark and spooky and Tim Burton, and then suddenly just happy.
Hop! Hop!
Everyone hop and honk like silly goose. Yeah, it was great fun to watch. And then we went to the bank, didn't we?
We went to the bank, and
we had a lot of money.
We had a lot of money, and we finished funding my courtyard.
Yes, we did. We had a conversation with the bank manager and kind of worked out a few Because again, the new bank system, they'd accidentally put the wrong price.
Yes.
They said it was 3 myths and something. It was actually 17 myths and 10 sagas.
Yeah.
So obviously we wanted to make sure that was fully clarified, and then we paid it all off.
Yeah.
And the courtyard is going to be built, and there's going to be an addition as well, isn't there?
Yeah. So we're looking to get. I won't go into too many details, but we're looking to get an entreaty put on it going forward, and there is an upgrade that I would like to make to it with a statue, which will hopefully be priced up for next time, so we can start funding that.
Yep.
But yeah, this build is not one that I put forward. It's one I found at the very first event, and it was a courtyard for performers in Reveso. And
it was a religious building as well, which have slightly different effects to other buildings. So I think that's awesome, because I don't think there's many other. There's only been like 2 or 3 religious buildings in Hammerstadt. And yeah, it's great that we managed to get it done.
And so I saw that and I was like, this aligns really well with my character. I'm going to get this funded.
Yep.
And we've done it, and it's really exciting.
Yeah.
And I'm also now excited to start being able to put large amounts of money that we collect into other things as well.
Yep.
And not just go, oh, well, I need to save for my bank build.
Yep. Yeah. Into things like, beefy enchantments.
And, other builds, putting it back into the nation.
Fairly sure Golden Eyes Detective Agency might come with a cup in hand.
I don't think I fully paid off Mordred for his enchantment, and 2, I don't think we ended up fully paying off that bank manager that spotted us whilst we were there.
I think no, I paid him off.
Did you?
Yeah,
okay.
I paid him. I paid him on Sunday morning.
Oh, okay.
I went and said I need to pay you, and he accepted the payment.
Awesome.
Thank you to the bank as always.
Yeah, the bank.
You make good game.
So lovely, and it's such a unique part of Menhir's fate.
Yeah.
To the point where when we went to Empire, it was weird to not go to the bank.
Yep. It was just a weird seeing all the bank managers and things in one particular house in the league.
Yeah, it was like, that's why.
Oh, the banker.
Thread.
Yeah, thread, yeah.
And then we went back to Portavas.
Yep.
And I was booking in a performance in the Rum Locker for myself and for Horizon Sirens.
Yes.
And the mask that we'd retrieved from Bella on Friday evening had been causing a bit of problems, some problems throughout the day. And I remember turning around in the bar to find Xavier, the character that had been most affected, the one who executed Bella, wearing the mask and allowing the Kraken to speak through him. And I don't know how much of this I should say on the podcast, because
I would say
it is ongoing
not a lot.
stuff.
Yeah.
But we essentially managed to chat with the Kraken, which is huge, and some things have been illuminated, and the Kraken might not be potentially as evil as we thought.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I was asked to do the great reveal to see if we could get some truth from the Kraken. I overloaded. I should have tempted fate, and I said in the moment, I should have tempted fate. I forgot that I could do this. But at this point, it's just a character decision for Saphira that she doesn't tempt fate. She just takes the overload.
No, you don't want to be corrupted.
No, I don't want to be corrupted. But because of that, I was still allowed to ask the questions that the rest of Portavas wanted to get answered, and it definitely illuminated some things. And it was a really cool moment.
Future interesting plot things.
Yeah, future interesting plots. And then
somehow Bella Diamici returned.
No.
Let's hope not.
Let's hope not. I think we would riot. And then we performed. It was a really good performance. I had people singing along to All for Elandra, which has not happened in that capacity before. And then it was our friend's birthday, so we got him up on the stage.
I'm up on the stage.
And we sang Happy Name Day to him.
I got to do, so I got to make a nice big announcement and, stop everyone, going like these, stop everyone and look over here, because we're going to celebrate our friends, and that's what we're here to do in this play. In the Rum Locker is a lovely play. It is the best bar in Haven.
It's unequivocally and unanimously the best bar in Haven.
Yeah.
Like, everyone that I've said, oh, it's the best bar in Haven to, has said, yeah, it is.
There are other bars, and they are also fantastic.
Yeah.
Rum Locker is the best.
The Rum Locker is specifically the best for performing because one of the proprietors does music himself and wants it to be
a proper stage. Yeah.
And we were talking to him on Sunday. It was like, yeah, I want it, like, the Rum Locker is like a bar. That's like the side effect. I wanted it to be like a performance space, and it's why I rarely perform anywhere else.
Yeah. It's really good. So I did a couple of extra things. I went to, it culminated in the burning of the effigy.
Ooh, yes.
Now obviously we couldn't do fires. So what we did was we went into the forest, which for those of you who have been to Dadford Road in another life, Navarre Woods, and we went in and they had the effigy out there far away. And then the tech crew things had made it so it started lighting up from the bottom and then burst into this beautiful orange backlit flame from behind. And then they pumped some of the dry ice smoke that's usually used for like encounters. So it looked like it was and it looked honestly very terrifying. But it was a really nice.
That's so cool.
I just thought it was absolutely brilliant that they managed to do things like that without, they had a problem and they went off and they solved it in such a wonderful way that we still got to have a bit of fun and a bit of silliness with it.
I really hope that they were filming that or had a photographer there.
Yeah, I don't know if they did, but regardless, it was an awesome little moment. So I was really happy. And of course, while I forgot to mention, but while I was in the Enchanting Guild, someone shouted, "Is there a Hieronymus Sweetsmith here?" Which no one knew I was going to be at the Enchanting Guild either. No one knew, so that's as dodgy as it is. And it was the postman for a letter for me.
Oh.
Weird letter. Basically, it said,
nothing beats a Rum Locker cocktail bar. And right now, you can save 5 saga per person. That's 1 myth off for a family of 4. We've got hours of child-free performance space available, with bar snacks included. Book now with Rum Locker's Alban. Packaged cocktails you can trust.
So over the course, that's what I've done over the course of the event. Basically, I've got it worked.
Yeah,
you were there.
Yeah, it worked. I was there when they came up with it.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's pretty.
They looked very smug.
They looked very
funny.
smug, but genuinely a really interesting thing to potentially, bring new people into that plot line.
I'm glad that plot line's still going on.
I'm so glad that we thought something might come. And then yet something dropped into my hands from the lovely post office team, and we went with it. We had a couple of members that weren't there, and I know that one member is going to be re-rolling a character, so won't be in that particular plotline anymore. And one member was in Scotland. So yeah, we had a few, but 3 of us were there, and we were just messing around and doing our thing.
Very fun.
Yeah. Sunday time.
Well, there was something that happened on Saturday night.
Was it?
The shadowy figure.
Oh yeah, there was a weird dude. Weird. So I will say 2 things on this. Really cool. He had like this, he had like basically he looked like Sauron hat.
Yeah.
And said that he was the herald of the 13th god. And we were trying to work out if it was herald with a lowercase
or
capital H, as if he was maybe an aspect. Turns out he wasn't. He was just a herald. But he wanted people to give him faith and put a shrine to the 13th god. Ongoing plot, so I won't discuss it too much. But I will say one piece of feedback. If you are going to have a character, that talks like this and is very slow and very quiet and essentially is doing an ASMR in a LARP field. Maybe don't have it outside the busiest tavern in Haven, because otherwise you can't hear a single thing that they are saying.
I couldn't hear a fucking thing.
Yeah, not at all.
From either of the people that was talking
Yeah.
during that encounter.
And when he started talking to me, I literally had to go, what? Which kind of fit in a stubborn Hammerstadt that don't care. It's like can you speak up? Because you sound like or can we go somewhere else?
Yeah.
But yeah, ongoing things seems like a priesty thing to deal with.
Yeah. Neither of us are priests.
Yeah.
Not our game.
I had a wonderful moment in the shrine tent later when he rocked up at the shrine tent.
Did he?
Yeah, where a large, lovely Cyrodian who's I believe he's the Cyrodian that helped last event with the mass amounts of corruption. He came in and was like, "What's going on?" And I said, "This person says he's the herald of the 13th god, and he wants people to give their faith and put a shrine here." And he goes, "Well, we can't be having that then," and was walked over. And I was like, "He's going to go and fight that person." And I was like, "Oh." But yeah, it was a good little bit of interesting plot.
Yeah.
The more the fading part pushes back, the more we uncover that we might not want to hear.
Sunday, we ran Roost and Respite again. You went round the guilds again.
Around the guilds. I think in total I made around about 12 myths from doing a guild run and just looping, but on both days. So 6 myths on one day, 6 on the other. Went well.
Yeah, it was good.
We also discovered that I was actually charging more than you were charging back at the tent.
I was charging 2 sagas for a cold brew and you were charging 5.
Yeah. And people were paying 5.
People were paying 5.
And other people said, you need to charge more.
My threads kept telling me I need to up my prices, so we're probably going to up our prices in September.
It's going to be 5 sagas or a flicker. I think that's an appropriate price for a nice, concentrated cold brew coffee with milk, syrups, everything like that. You know, it works.
Yeah, absolutely. We deposited money in the bank. I don't think I really did anything of importance yesterday on Sunday. I almost did. The issue was there were 2 skirmishes, one for Hammerstadt, one for Portavas. They were like half an hour apart. You were initially told that you could have friends on your skirmish.
Yeah, we were initially told, and then we were told that you couldn't, and then we were told maybe, and maybe like 1 or anything like that.
I got all kitted up. I put on my quiver. I strung my bow. I borrowed some arrows from our Urdrevani friends, and I got up to the gate, and I was told no.
Yep.
And I had to walk all the way back.
And I think I'm gonna, you know, that's a decision that was made. I think it was looking back at the fight, there was nothing in that fight that was implicitly that needed to be Hammerstadt only, other than the fact that it was rescuing Hammerstadt people. But we rescued one of the folk last night, the night before, and we did that. My big gripe with it is that the Adventurers Guild had put it for 80 people. All right, there's 77 people in the nation, and
not all of them are fighters.
Yes. So already we're going to be outnumbered, and already I see the flags. I see the red flags of this is going to be like last Sunday for Portavas.
Yeah.
And then we get there, and I raised that OC with the threads. I said we're going to get steamrolled, and we're going to lose half the nation. And so no, they're going to reduce the numbers. They're going to cut the numbers down. And we go, okay, that's fine. Expecting there to be maybe 60 fighters.
Yeah.
We get there and there's 120.
So it's exactly
in 2 different blocks.
Yeah. So it's exactly like Portavas fight from last event.
Yeah. And we got steamrolled.
Yeah.
We did. Don't get me wrong. We pushed back and we did quite well. But for the first time, the streak has been broken of Hammerstadt. We lost 3 players, one of whom was a first player, and I don't think that should have happened. That would have happened if we had 80. Even if we were 2-1, I think we would have been able to hold off.
Yeah.
I also think that there needs to be a cooldown on certain monster skills, because there was someone that was just pointing at everyone and just going rend. It's like a machine gun.
That doesn't feel, unless it's a mass rend.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel good.
Yeah, and I got hit and stuff like that, and I was down, and then the line moved over. and then I got pushed back and things like that, and it just didn't, like, it was an okay fight at times. I got injured again because someone doesn't know to not stab with a non-stab safe staff, so I got rocked right in the solar plexus, which meant I had to actually get moved out by a ref because they said, no, you actually need to stop, because if a ref says I need to go and stand somewhere, I'm going to go and listen to them. And then by that, but the problem is, after that, the line had already moved in front of me, so I couldn't really just run on the sidelines and say, like, oh, from where I actually was, because then all I could do is I could just run along the back and just rend them all.
Yeah.
And that's cheating. I didn't feel right doing that.
No. So it was a bit of a shit show for you guys.
I left that with a really sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah, you came back to camp and you were not happy.
No.
Which is not what you want at, like, 2 o'clock on a Sunday when you've only got an hour left of the game and you can't really rectify
and it's
that.
30 degrees. Yeah. And they checked in with me and stuff, and I voiced my concerns, and I will be voicing it in the feedback, that what part of that skirmish needed it to just be Hammerstadt only, when I know that we have a propensity to just go and grab Urdrevan and they come in and they just steamroll it. But why couldn't we grab, all go and grab some Ciridonians, some Portavans, some, some other nation.
So I want to point out the only reason I wanted to come on the Hammerstadt one was because there was a Portavas one, and it was apparently Portavas priority, but then other nations could join. And the Portavas priority got fully booked on Saturday night, which is the second time in a row that has happened to me, where sign-ups have happened on Saturday night for a Sunday fight, and I found out about it on Sunday morning, and almost, last time I was able to go, this time I was not able to go because of that sign-up. Because I just happened to not be around when the announcement was done. And that felt really shit. And I also found out after the fact that fight was also heavily outnumbered. They succeeded, but they lost 2 Ciridonians and a Portavan. And apparently the biggest block in that fight was Ciridonians. So it wasn't even Portavans that were the biggest nation presence in that fight. And that doesn't feel good.
I felt, it just puts a dampener on your event, and and I feel bad for the new player that died and the 2 other, obviously I don't really, I joke that this streak is, that we can't be killed, is that we knew it was going to happen. But
it shouldn't have happened like that.
I don't feel like it should happen like that.
I kind of feel a little bit put out because I went through all that effort to enchant my bow on Friday. I only got to use it once in a fight. That was the only time I did a fight and left Haven this entire weekend, and it kind of feels a bit shit when you see other nations going out on nation exclusive stuff more than once. When your nation is a large nation and only gets one nation exclusive thing, and it's at the beginning of the weekend, and I felt like I didn't do as much fighting as I really wanted to.
Maybe we'll just do a bunch of Adventurers Guild stuff in September. We'll just have a look at it and just. But we'll see. But also, again, I don't want to do tons of adventurers because there wasn't a lot of adventurous stuff.
No,
and I don't want to take game away from other people.
That is something I want to talk about coming up. That there wasn't a huge amount of opportunities to do stuff.
Because I think if you put all of the Adventurers Guild numbers in total, and everyone, and it would be enough for maybe each person to go on one encounter. In the field, which.
It's not great.
And I get it. It's because of the heat and that kind of stuff. But these are our opinions, and we freely share them. If you disagree with us or if you have other thoughts, that down there is where you need to pop them.
So I ended up, when you guys went out on the Hammerstadt skirmish, I came back to camp and I just shot all of my arrows at the target that our friend had set up, and did that for about half an hour to get the frustration out of my system, and had an upside of that actually got us further with fielding a Portavan archery block than discussions about it. But it still felt shit that I spent more time doing target archery in camp than actually using my bow outside of Haven. It's something that needs to be worked on.
But
then, after that,
there's always things that need to be
there's always,
worked on.
it's an evolving game, as we said.
There's, for every one bad thing that we mention, there's like 50 really, really top good things.
Exactly.
But sometimes those bad things do stick in your memory a little bit more. Well, I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then we timed out, and it was a horrendous pack down,
which was horrible. But that's not the fault of the game.
Nope.
And it was exhausting, and we got back last night, and we were exhausted.
Yep, we crashed out very quickly. Yeah.
But enough about that. Should we move on to our hot snots and forget me nots?
Yes, it's hot snots and forget me nots.
Woo!
I'll let you go first because I really haven't come up with exactly what to say. So you do your hot first.
So my hot has to be talking to the Kraken on Saturday night. Again, I don't want to go into too much detail on it, but it was a fantastic experience. And what's sticking with me is the fact that the encounter started and there was maybe 1 or 2 people in the rum locker. And by the time that the Kraken, we were asking the questions, the rum locker was packed because everyone had come over. And I really want to put my I've thanked him in person, but put my thanks out to the thread that was leading the encounter and voicing the Kraken for letting me have that moment.
Yeah.
Even after
Did
I
someone
had
try and jump in?
So yeah, it was if the right had succeeded, they were going to ask the questions through me, but when it didn't succeed, they were like, okay, I'll ask, the person who had the question was like, I'll ask the questions. And the Kraken was like, no, let the Fable Weaver talk. I like her voice. Which was a very nice way of that thread allowing me to have that moment.
Yeah, to still have that moment, even though it was a bit of a failure.
Yeah. To be honest.
Right failure, not failure.
Yeah. To be honest, I had a really fun time failing that because the way I role play my overload is one of the Fable ones is you find everything uncontrollably funny and you can't stop laughing. A bit like Tasha said, it's laughter in D&D.
Yes.
So that's how I RP it because it's just easy and I start cackling and and one of our Sawbones came over. It's the same one who dealt with Ben and his corruption last time. It was like, I'm gonna heal you. I'm gonna bring you back up. And he was like, I'm gonna slap you. Is that okay? Checking an OC. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Slap some sense into me. And so that was a really, really fun way of doing that. And yeah, it didn't feel like it was a failure because it still led to a really fun encounter. And I think the information we were able to get from the Kraken has opened up a lot of possibilities for Portavas' plot going forward. And it's really fun to have been a part of that, even if it was just a small part being I'm
excited to see where that leads and what that leads to.
Yeah. I trust that I place a lot of trust in the threads that write our plot, and I think it's gonna lead to some really cool things.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so my hot I think is going to be seeing our coterie kind of grow and getting involved in the kind of enchanty types things and kind of working out what we are as a coterie. The House of Mending Arts is our coterie and kind of working, but as a corollary of that, we have our friend James's detective agency, just getting a lovely network of people to just talk and getting new players in and giving them kind of games. So I think that's probably my hot. It was just kind of growing it and establishing ourselves as we are making potions. This is, and our plan kind of going forward is to create a war chest for Hammerstadt. Where I can just at the start of just before every encounter, just open up my chest and go, right, regain health for you, regain health for you, regain health for you, toughness for you, toughness for you, regen, everything you might need. And then I also want to get, following that, I have that Rend machine gun. I have an idea to actually counter that now, which I will be discussing with the Burgermeisters, I think, in some IC mail. And trying to get some money behind it to get the stuff we need to do it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's been really nice seeing you guys figure out what you want to do as your main game as a group. And I'm really excited to see where you take it in future.
Yep. What did you think? What was your knot?
My knot kind of feeds into what we were talking about at the end of our Sunday discussion. It's just, it felt like there weren't enough things going on. And I know that it was because of the heat, and I know that it was because they rearranged monstering, and I do think those are the right thing to do. I still feel a little sour that the only time I got to go on a fight was Friday evening, and the rest of the weekend was kind of... It was still fun, don't get me wrong, but I would have liked to have used my bow in more than one fight.
Yeah.
Especially after running around and getting it enchanted.
It's annoying that your monstering faction wasn't the Tyrant either, because they have a full like bow block.
Yeah.
And that's a really good, cool...
Yeah, I think I can get away with using bows with Tyrant monstering, and I think potentially with Void monstering, because Void have crossbows, and that's not accessible for everyone, so I'm sure they would allow some wiggle room with that. I just did not have the energy to...
Yeah, no, absolutely.
...actually combat monster, even though we were the Void this event.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not something that I think can be specifically changed. Hopefully it'll be better in September with some nicer weather. But yeah, I came away from the event feeling like I hadn't done much. Which is weird because I still did more in one evening than I've done in a whole weekend at other events.
Yeah.
Other systems.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think because our first event of Menhir's Fate this year was so jam-packed, this felt a little bit like it was dropping off. But again, there were extenuating circumstances, and I do think the crew made the right decision making those decisions that they made. But it was also like seeing the new players that we brought in kind of come back from the Treasure Hunters Guild and go, yeah, there's not really anything going on. And that kind of sucks as a new player.
Yeah.
Because they're not getting the full experience.
Yeah, they're not getting there, and like we spent all this time, spouting about how amazing Haven has been, and how amazing Menhir's Fate has been, how much we've done, and then it's like going in and going, oh yeah, we've got nothing really planned. It's like, oh, cool, right, okay, and it's like I don't want to go and do this, like Yeah.
And again, I think it could do with some standardization of how many nation-only quests each nation gets, because again, it does suck only having one, or like MF4 last year, we didn't get anything.
Yeah.
And then seeing other nations go out
once,
one,
twice,
2, 3 times even, kind of feels like a kick in the teeth.
Yeah.
What was your knot?
My knot was, you'd think my knot would be that battle, and it's not really, because there's nothing that can really be changed about that. It was, again, just a not balanced battle, which was my knot, I think, last time, really, or your knot, certainly. My knot is that I didn't really feel like I spent much time in my nation this event.
Yeah.
I don't think I spent a lot of time doing Hammerstadt things. I don't think there were a ton of Hammerstadt things to do. But like there's some plot that kind of went over from other things that I wasn't hugely involved in last event. I was like, it doesn't matter thing. But like the main Hammerstadt thing I did was saw Bill Wagglestaff and that fight. And the sausage festival, like burning and that kind of thing, which was great, and those things were lovely and things. But I just don't think I spent a lot of time actually in the nation talking to people from the nation. Yeah. Because I was always doing other things, and that's because I was having my weapon enchanted. I wanted to find an enchanter because I was doing, the coffee house, and I was doing other things. It just.
There's more of a balance that we can strike going forward.
Yeah.
And as
I like the walk around I do at 10. I like that.
Yeah.
It went
it's
well.
more fun than you had the first time we did it, where you just sat in the tent boiling water.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. I would not be doing that.
No.
But yeah. So I think that was the knot. I felt like I was not as engaged with the nation as possible, to the point where I spent a longer time talking to the threads in the coffee shop in Portavas.
In a semi-OC way.
Yeah, in a relatively but just kind of because they'd come over for a little bit of a break, than I had the rest of the event. I think that was the longest I'd spoken to the Baron.
Yeah.
That event, because I'd just not been in the nation, which feels a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is weird because we were closer to Hammerstadt than we were last time, and the camp layout was really good this time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll strike more of a balance for that going forward.
Yeah.
Making sure you have some time
Yeah.
with your nation, with your coterie.
Yeah. All right. Forget me not.
My forget-me-not is something that I haven't mentioned at all so far. On Saturday, there was to go back, there was a curse going around this event.
Oh, yes.
With a scroll of paper where if you read it, you had to say the opposite of whatever it was that you wanted to say. So if someone asked you how you were doing and you were doing good, you had to say, "Oh, I'm terrible." On Saturday afternoon, this scroll made it to our campmates, the Coral Corsairs. Rodrigo had it at some point, and that was really confusing. And it ended up being passed to Steph, played by M, who took it because Rodrigo is an important person, and it was far too confusing having him say the opposite when people actually needed his help.
And he had an election, didn't he?
And he had an election on Sunday morning, so if he'd been cursed for that, it would not have gone well. And my forget-me-not is my forget-me-not because M committed so hard to this and was clearly having such a good time with this curse that being around them whilst they were afflicted by this just brought me so much joy. They tended bar behind the rum locker, and that was the funniest thing I've ever seen. They came over to the Bone Club with me and had the realization just before we went in of like, oh, this curse is going to be really bad for consent. And we had a little laugh about that. I acted as their translator for a lot of it, and I feel like I can't adequately describe just how fun it was. But yeah, that was my forget-me-not, was just being around someone, having so much fun with a prompt, and also just seeing this curse go around and the joy and the fun that it brought people was really good.
So my forget-me-not was finishing all of the projects that we have had for about, 6 events now. So that was getting my weapon enchanted. I didn't know what I wanted to have on it, so I was like, well, maybe I'll do rebound because I think that'd be very useful up against those people that just spam out calls like they are Tic Tacs, and go for the other things as well, like getting your bank build finished, which I know was such a passion project for you, and was your reasoning for the coffee shop and putting that in and getting it done. And then having that moment, outside the bank of like, it's done.
It's done.
That is amazing. We have done it.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of good trading this event, like loads of good trading, because I ended up with.
You ended up with
30 water flicker at one point.
Yeah, I think you had more resources at the end of the weekend than you did at the start.
No, I had slightly less because I had 7 spirit at the start of this event.
Slightly less, considering that we spent a lot of essence on enchantments.
Yeah, exactly. So I did, I got really into the trading of just in small things. But my kind of ethos of trading is that I don't want to make profit really. I want the resources for things, and I'm willing to pay what they're actually worth.
Yeah.
I'm willing to, put those in, and if it's a bulk thing, then we'll work out a discount and stuff. But I'm also, if it's gonna impede someone's game that I am charging too much, that's me being a bad player.
Yeah.
If it's going to impede my game because I made 4 less saga, that's me being a bad player.
Yeah.
It's 4 saga. It's not, it's not gonna.
Money shouldn't matter like that at Menhir's Fate. It's
because you want to know the big secret. It's not real.
It's fancy printed metal.
It's not real money.
It has no value.
Yep.
It only has the value that we give it.
Yep, exactly. And that's why we keep inflation low.
Yes.
But yeah, I think overall I made, with both selling and the betting and everything like that, I made over 1.5 legends, just doing bits and bobs and trading and stuff. And I was happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was happy with a small amount of things, and getting, seeing getting some extra little plot from getting that letter, and
yeah,
just lots of things happened. Lots of things happened, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
You could almost say that your forget-me-not is the opposite of my not.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's because I made those, and I think that was me making my own game. And also you to a point with your coffee, with the coffee shop and things. We made our own game because there was no game between. Because between 2 and 6, everything just went no.
I will say it was my knot. I did somewhat appreciate the slower pace. I would have liked more fights to go on, but I have a habit of having. I've started calling it my Saturday afternoon breakdown, where everything just gets a little bit too much. I've done a little bit too much. It's been too full on. I'm not running on enough sleep.
I'm tired, I'm grumpy, I'm hungry.
I need to go and sit down by myself for a little bit. Which I think I talked about in our podcast on MF1.
Yes, you did.
Earlier in the year, that having an IC space to do that made it so much easier to get through.
Yep.
I didn't do that this event because I didn't ever feel like I was overwhelmed with so much going on. And I had time to sit down, to put my feet in the paddling pool, to get a drink.
And even then, like, you still did a lot because you were given, a very important task by Zen, which is quite a big thing to have to go, because going around and getting testimonials, that's a lot of talking and walking. And
I did enlist the help of one of our new players, and I think he had a really good time walking around and getting stories from people and getting to know people. So it was a perfect, brand new to Haven task to give someone. And
and we're gonna, I think you showing new crew members or potential new crew members or anything like that, just new players being able to be a person that says, come over here and we'll find you something to do. That's that's what we're getting to do in our coterie. We want to be that group that is just like, come here, we will find you some game.
The first port of call for people who are new by themselves.
Which works with our coterie because our coterie is made up of ex-Valdrathi players and who are, one of them who is still playing the same character, just moved over, and the other two I think re-rolled new characters. But I just think it works with what we have.
Absolutely,
so we've got a very good, a lovely group of 4 LARPers that actually want everyone. We want to LARP with everyone, and we want everyone to have a good time. And and thank you to all of the lovely people who came up to us, OC in the food area, or as we were packing up tents and as I was going to the car, and everything that said that they were new players, they had a good time, or the ones that said that they struggled a little bit but are still coming back. Come if you are struggling, come see us IC and come sit in R&R and just chat to us. I'm always around for a chat, and I'll find out all about you and try and get you into whatever idiot shenanigans that I'm involved in. I think that's everything.
I think that is everything.
Any closing thoughts?
Menhir's good. Love my ship. Love my nation.
Pumpkins. That's my final thought.
Pumpkins.
Yep, that's my final thought.
Well, thank you very much for watching us ramble and yap about Menhir's Fate Event 2. We will be doing another podcast on Menhir's Fate 3.
Yes. Once I've figured out the editing issues for our online our separate podcast where we can get some guests in, we will be having some guests on. I have a queue of people who have asked if they could come on the podcast now.
We might need to do a spreadsheet just to keep track of who wants to be on the podcast.
Yes, but yes, thank you very much for watching. Can you please leave a like and subscribe to us?
Tell us about your event. What did you get up to? Leave a comment down below, and we love reading them.
Yes, I actually do have a comment thing for you. If you are a new player or you have only recently started or MF is your first LARP, can you please tell me one thing that you think that more experienced LARPers could do to make you feel more included? Because that's something that came up in the game that we were having a discussion with some people. What do you think, how can we help you feel more included and get into the game? And if you're an experienced LARPer, what would you like to be if you were a new LARPer? What would you like to do to that? How can you help them? What would your advice be?
I like that.
Yep.
Let us know down below.
Yep.
And we will see you all in the field in 2 months.
Yep. And with that, we'll say goodbye. I've been the Sweetsmith, but I'm also Stephen.
I've been the Songbird, but I'm also Ella.
We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.